Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. So excited to be with you on this day, December the 6th. Got an interesting topic for you. Of course, the elections of Argentina took place a few days ago, about a week ago or so. But I did promise you we'll do a live stream video for you on that topic. And here I am. So it took a few times because I had to gather my own information and research the stuff before I'll come on the air and share this with you. So to all of you, I'm very excited to be here. I can't thank you enough, of course, for your continued support. You all read my post on the community as to what happened yesterday with YouTube. Shame on you, YouTube. You don't allow the truth to come out. Is this what has become now of our so-called freedom of speech? Shame. Very ashamed. As an American, I'm very ashamed to just have my own country. But that's a conversation for another day. Speaking of that, guys, I am in the process of working on establishing another location. I will let you know. And I hope you guys can join me over there for the key information on certain type of topics that we can talk here. And I will inform you about all this. Osiris, I want to say thank you for your continued support, man. I shall never forget this. I want you to know, and I will pay it forward. I want you to all know that. So, Phil, good to see you as always. Hong Duan, good to see you. Yeah, I was supposed to be late, but I drove very fast from the studio all the way to my own place. This is from my home, by the way. That's my office here, what you see behind me and all that. So I usually do those lives from here, from home. Oh, we got someone from Sri Lanka. Good to have you here. Nassar, good to have you. Truly appreciate you being here. So, Hairless Ape from British Columbia, BC. Good to have you. Where is Athene Wu? There he is. Hello, Athene Wu. Good to see you as always. So, all right, guys, let's. I want to extend my thanks. Today, I'm just going to go into all this right away. And you all know I do appreciate and thank you enough for your continued support. So I'm going to start with the key questions, and I'm going to post them for you right here, guys. One of our viewers in the community suggested this approach. It's easier for to follow and so forth, so which makes more sense here. So here's the first question. Oh, no, that's not what we're doing. Okay, I had the questions written here. Maybe yeah, it's right here. Let me copy and I'm gonna share those. Show this one. Sorry, guys, I have to do this one here to show you the questions because it didn't save. Here's the question. So what we're talking about today is the election of the far right President Javier Milei. He's been elected to the surprise of many. Well, I will use the term surprise, but if you only know the background story, which I will share with you a picture, and the picture is worth 1,000 words, then you will reach your own conclusion for that. But nonetheless, we're still going to ask the question, and the questions rather. First, how significant is this announcement of Argentina not joining BRICS? Because that's what the conversation is going to be about. Second question is, who's really behind this decision? Is it Milei himself? Is it his foreign minister who's going to be appointed soon? Or is it some other elements outside? That's worth asking. And the third question is, with this announcement, what will be the economic outlook for Argentina? You all know Argentina used to be, still one of our viewers, Ariel from Argentina. When you look at Argentina's debt, and I was aware of their first IMF loan back in the 80s. That loan has not been paid off yet. And as a matter of fact, now Argentina is about, don't quote me on this because I don't remember the exact numbers, because it changed, of course. But the last time I read was about $41 to $42 billion in a hole with the debt of this. So And this is why it's important to understand the significance of statements like this that's going to even further Argentina into more debt, given that what this new president-elect wants to do. He wants to bring back the dollar. We all know if you have too much debt, interest rate goes up, your debt is going to shoot up. Excuse me. And this is exactly what makes me wonder how Argentinians were thinking. And that leads to the common question, really, what was this election of the far right is all about? And this is what we're going to be addressing in this live stream here. So YouTube, you don't need to demonetize this one here, okay? So shame on you, YouTube. Anyway, so Argentina, as we said, Javier Milei has won the elections. Of course, as you all know, it's already been official. But it's the margins also by which he won, which was about 55.6%. And I will provide you the links to all this. That's beside the point. What's the key is what Diana Mondino mentioned about pulling Argentina out of BRICS. Because as you all know, Argentina has been invited officially for the 2024 BRICS summit, along with five other countries. But this is where it really makes you wonder. That's the first recent official remark of what Mondino stated, and I quote: "We will not join the BRICS." That just and to me, I can see the trouble right there moving forward, because Argentina is not in a good economic setting to begin with. Now, there are those who say, well, wait a minute, maybe it's good Argentina is pulled out of that, which means good for the BRICS. It might be the case. However, if you look at the other side of the argument with, for example, what Brazil has suggested to Argentina to create a common currency. That was the suggestion of Brazilian President Lula, by creating the common currency called Al Sur. Yeah, how this is gonna, because it will reduce the dependency on the dollar. This guy, let me share a picture with you. He's a character. This guy, Milei, Javier, he's saying, no, we're gonna dollarize. In other words, we're gonna let the pesos and use the dollar. This is where the concern is about those who are thinking. He's an economist. Now, how of a good of economist he is, I don't know. I can't say something about someone that I do not know for sure. All I know is that his academic background, to a degree, has been involved in economics. But would you compare him to the likes of, I don't know, the well-established economists? Most likely not the case. So this is where I see that challenge is for Argentina, and even for him. Well, for him is even worse, because he is taking the presidency in the worst time for a long time for Argentina. Usually, when you think about Argentina, as one who's been following to a degree what's going on with that Latin American country, because it's a major economic powerhouse in Latin America, beside Brazil and Mexico, Argentina has always maintained its neutral stance when it comes down to international conflicts. Why? Because doing so allow it to have some sort of a commercial flexibility into seizing on opportunities, like what China has been doing for Argentina. And China has been helping a lot. It's just there is not a lot that's been disclosed about all this one here. So I also need to share with you a few highlights about Argentina's geography, because it's worth knowing a little bit about its history and its, of course, geography. That is very, very important to understand a little bit. So, let me see where my notes are. Yeah. So for Argentina, it has always played a role of being some sort of wanted to involved when it comes down to global south, but it has never sort of managed that adequately. Well, the reason it never managed it adequately because of its massive debt. You don't get out of the debt easily here. So let me share the screen with you guys about Argentina, and it's a simple image here for share the screen. Here we go. And I'm gonna leave it on here for you. Let me make this bigger. Full screen right there. So Argentina, known as the Argentine Republic, it's basically what it is. It's a federal republic state which was found in the southern cone of Latin America or South America, that is. So it neighbors sort of Chile, Paraguay, Bolivia, Brazil, Uruguay. When I was in Bolivia, I visited Bolivia a few years ago. I went to La Paz, but it was way further south for me to get to Argentina. I didn't go to Argentina because I did not need to go down there. So, what's interesting about Argentina is it has about like 26 mainlands. That is where Argentina is, and those mainlands is considered like you look at them like states, if I may use the term. With the capital, Buenos Aires, that's considered one of the largest cities in Latin America. There is the other aspect of, let me stop sharing this screen here. As I said, there is not much that I wanted to share on this aspect of it. It's just I want you to at least be aware of where Argentina is. Regarding its government, by the way, the government system is set up similar to the United States. It has three branches of the government, the same like US, legislative, executive, and judicial. The president of Argentina serves one term of 6 years. So this is where I see the trouble with Argentina economically, because they're going to have to be dealing with Milei's policies, economic one, for the next 6 years. The BRICS is not going to be just waiting for 6 years. It's going to have to move on once they figure out where this is going, and rightly so. You can wait forever for that. So as far as Argentina's history, well, it's a little bit complicated because it goes way back. When I say way back, early on, before even the Europeans came to Argentina, because Argentina wasn't populated as it is today. When you look at Argentina back then, if you look at the northeast part of the country, let me put that map again, guys, for you to see, because it's worth understanding where all this is. Share screen, and here is this map here. There we go. Just for you to see, guys, this one. And so it's northwest. People back then, they didn't have much. So what they end up doing is just growing crops like potatoes, like squash, which they are very, very known in Argentina. So those back then, again, that's before the arrival of the Europeans. So the lifestyle was based on sort of a hunter-gatherer per se till about the 19th century. And I am briefing all this here. So Europeans arrived in what is now known as Argentina in the 16th century. That's usually how it was. In 1516, Juan de Solis reached the River Plate. By the way, River Plate, that was the name of one of the well-known soccer club in Argentina. I used to follow up soccer with this one. But he was killed by the natives at that time. So then who came after him was Sebastian Cabot, who reached the River Plate area in 1526. And in 1536, Pedro de Mendoza led the expedition to the area, and he built a fort at that time. However, the Spaniard, because they were the first to arrive there, were forced to withdraw by hostile natives. So this is throughout the 16th century till about 1776. Interesting enough. What is interesting about that year? 1776. Can anybody tell me? World history here. And there was the new victory of the River Plate was formed with Buenos Aires as its capital, because the locals, the southern part in Argentina, pushed for that. Fast forward to 1806, the British captured Buenos Aires, but they were forced to withdraw. And in 1807, they attacked the city again, but they were repelled. Nevertheless, the links between Argentina and Spain weakened in the early 19th century, especially after 1808, when Napoleon forced the Spanish king to abdicate and made his own brother king of Spain. You all know the history between France and Spain at that time. And finally, in 1810, it was exactly on May 25th, 1810, this is when the viceroy was deposed and the junta took control of Argentina, known as Argentina in Spain or Argentina in Spanish. However, the junta did not break all links with Spain until 1816. This is where that provinces comes in. So the United Provinces of the River Plate was declared on July 9th, 1816. And right after this, the United Provinces consisted at that time, here is what's interesting. It wasn't just about Argentina, because the United Provinces consisted of what is now Argentina, Bolivia, and Uruguay. This is the same setting that was regarding the Middle East with the Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine at that time. However, the new state was bitterly divided between unitarists who warned of a strong central government and federalists who wanted a loose federation of provinces. And by the way, Javier Milei is a reflection of the federalist, by the way. So fast forward to 1820, that's when the new state broke up. Bolivia became independent in 1825, and Uruguay was created as a buffer state between Argentina and Brazil in 1828 after a war between the two countries. Of course, 1835, that's when General Juan Manuel de Rosas became sort of the commander or dictator, whatever term you want to use, of Argentina. But he was a federalist also. By ironically, he introduced a strong and a repressive central government at that time. This is why, again, why am I saying, and I'm keeping the term here, repressive, because historically it's referred to that, but also is reflective of what Argentina had to go through in the last 3-4 decades with military rule. That is the reason why. So, however, Rosas eventually alienated many people in the provinces, and in 1852, a rebellion removed him from power. What it tells you here, it tells me personally too, how much people have power if only people use power right. Here is a rebellion removed him despite his strong and repressive central government control. It tells you about the power of the people. So I hope people of the world wake up at some point. So fast forward to the 19th century, the native in southern Argentina lived in their traditional way. But in 1879, General Julio Rica led an army to conquer them, and the conquest of the desert was over by 1880. I'll take you to 1920. Argentina was this. Here is what's interesting, guys. We don't hear much about this anymore, but in 1920, Argentina was the seventh richest country in the world. However, Argentina, like the rest of the world, was affected by the Wall Street crash of the 1930s. And this is where the army in 1930 staged a coup, and General Jose Oriboro became president of Argentina. So, and you all know the history of that. Fast forward to modern day history about Argentina. 1944, Argentina severed the diplomatic relations with Germany and Japan. And on 1945, Argentina declared war on Germany. So it was very interesting. You all remember the conflict of the what you call them, the islands between Argentina and United Kingdom. So, and the UK wanted to maintain the dominance. Argentina said, "Hell no, that ain't gonna happen." So I drew a blank on the name of that. It'll come to me. And this is what happened between Argentina and United Kingdom at that time regarding those islands. So this is part of the history of Argentina. And I just wanted to provide you this because you need to understand the historical context of this. So it's very, very, very important to understand. So now, talking about Milei, which, by the way, I will put a link for you to TikTok videos of this individual's Milei. It's an interesting character. But again, we're not judging here. We're not passing judgments. It's just a matter of understanding the character that Argentina is going to have to be dealing with, devoted for. It's their decision, of course. That's their country. They can decide. So the focus for me here for Argentina is the idea of the declaration of, even before the official coming of the government, the announcements that the incoming Milei government's position on BRICS has been closely watched. Well, already, because Milei had, believe it or not, a harsh critics of China's political system. That's what I found very ironic all of a sudden. So, by contrast to his opponent at that time, who was Sergio Massa, who was a minister in charge of economic affairs in the outgoing government, the other one welcomed China's increase in footprints, economically speaking, not politically. So makes you just wonder, who is behind the scenes pushing the agenda for Milei to embark on? And I'm going to share this because you need to see, without seeing these images here, it might not even make sense to you what I'm talking about here, as far as understanding the character of what Milei is. So I'm going to share this screen with you guys, and I put the link for you, and you can decide. You can watch it later if you want. But now, once again, we're not judging here. All I'm saying is, when you are thinking of running for a reflective of, yeah, it might be excitement, it might be whatever, but beside that, it's kind of very, very concerning as to when you look at certain aspects of the behavior in itself. Well, very interesting. They removed one of the videos that was very provocative. Yeah, it's not here anymore. Very, very, very provocative from a president per se. So there's him in the bus. Unusual behavior, if I may use the term. And again, not to judge here. We're not judging here. So, oh, is this one right here? Now, you need to see for yourself. Yeah, he's having a good time, but it defeats the point. That's way beyond what need to be about an incoming president on a global stage, because, and this is one thing that, you know, nobody could hide this, because that's the reality. And Now, you know me, guys, I can't just cherry pick stuff here. I show you both sides, and of course, you reach your own upcoming or your own conclusion, or rather. So, once again, if we are to think about what is the impact of this decision by Argentina's upcoming foreign or incoming foreign minister saying that, well, we're going to move out of BRICS, was it this about BRICS or was it about China exactly? What do you guys think? Let me ask you that question. What do you think? Was this decision about BRICS as an entity, an economic bloc, or was it about specifically China? Just leave me the answer on the chat box here. I will greatly appreciate it. So now the interesting thing was about Javier Milei disclosing on the Twitter, on X, he shared the letter that received from President Xi, and I'm going to share it with you in both languages, in Spanish and the translation of it in English. So in Spanish it says: agradezco al presidente Xi Jinping las felicitaciones y los buenos deseos que me hablaron llegar a través de su carta. Le envío mis más sinceros deseos y bienestar para el pueblo de China. That's the Spanish version. It translates to: I thank President Xi Jinping for the congratulations and good wishes he sent me through his letter. I sent you my most sincere wishes for the well-being of the people of China. This is the response part of Javier Milei. Well, if you are to say this, then where is that harsh criticism of China's system has a place into this? This is no different than the arguments our incompetent President Biden made when he met with President Xi. Then later on called him a dictator. Just doesn't make any sense. The context of it doesn't make any sense. What it shows is the instability, and I'm not using the term in a derogative context here, instability of the person's statements versus the reality. And I'm not even saying the instability on the mental level. That's not what I'm getting at. Instability as far as, really, what is the context of you meeting with the president, you turning around and calling him something else? Same thing with Javier Milei. Here he is saying, President Xi send me to congratulations and so forth. You turn around and criticizing his political system for his country. The system works for them. He is not imposing, President Xi is not imposing his system on you. So where that criticism fits in? And this is where you question the judgment of an upcoming leader. So, and this is where the concern about where this is going to be taking Argentina. This is where my big concern, because it was by design. We never wanted Argentina to get out of the debt. This is where the problem that I see. Because since he was elected, or since his election, Javier Milei has sort of repeated constantly his three sort of thinking points on trade. It was the trade and it was the foreign policy. And this, he disclosed them during an interview there. And when he called himself first and foremost, and get this, guys, because I had to dig into the archives for this media in Argentina to find this, because I wanted to make sure. And here it is, and I put it in quote, and I will put the link for you. He called himself first and foremost, and I put this in quote, an ally of the United States, Israel, and the West. End of quote. What's interesting about this is this picture here, and I did post it for you guys. This is an image of Javier converting from Christianity to Judaism. He is, of course, entitled to associate himself with any religion he wants. we're not judging. Who are we to judge? We're not judging. It's just ironic. The moment he won elections, the moment he became, he embraces Judaism by converting. That's what I found very interesting. And when you see something like this, you connect it with the statements. That's what he called himself first and foremost. And I repeat this, the quote: an ally of the United States, Israel, and the West. This is one. A second one has to do with his thinking. When he said, and I quote, "I will not push or promote relationships with dictatorships, communists, those who have no regard for peace and don't hold democratic values." End of quote. Doesn't this ring a bell for you? What do you guys think? And he has a third thinking is, he said, and I quote, "business people are free to trade with whomever they want." Well, if you he is contradicting himself. If you say free people, then why are you forcing Argentina out of BRICS? That shows you right there. But this is not all about. It's about the content of the statements. That is what's very troubling for me as a geopolitical analyst. Yeah. So this is why I asked the question: was it his decision, or was it directed by someone else? When I say someone else, another person, another entity, another. You get the idea. You get the idea. So, but here is the most troubling of them all. Here's the most troubling of them all. I'm going to share a picture with you, and I want you to look and tell me what strikes you about the picture. All right there, guys. Can you tell me one individual there you should know who is? And I'll wait for your answer on the chat box. Because if you know that person, then you understand why the statements were made and why the decision was made as far as not joining BRICS. So I'm going to wait because there is always a delay into all this. Yeah, you got it, David K. You got it, man. You got it right here. You got it. So this was right prior to the election time. What does it tell you? The story is there. The story is there. So the decisions might end up going against what Argentinian people want versus what the establishment wants. I said this a month and a half ago. There is a video out there. Who knows? Which I tell them, go ahead. Because it just shows how corrupted our system is. Back then I argued, is this guy a stooge? I knew it right there. I saw the signs. I knew where to look and what to look for. It became clear to me. Any policies coming out now with this new administration. Remember, one term of Argentinian president is 6 years. Another 6 years down the hole, economically speaking, for Argentinian people. When you see the as a matter of fact, I read elsewhere that the inflation has reached about 146%. That was the last what I read. It could change by now. Poverty level is increasing. So, and here is the thing. Even when you read statements from some think tanks, I was aware of one that is based in Honolulu, in Hawaii. It's called the Global Risk Mitigation Foundation. And this is what I intend to be addressing in the new platform later on, because we're going to get into the depth of all this that you need to know, the connection of all this. So I hope you guys, by the time I set up all this, we're all going to move this kind of conversations over there. Because you need to know the full spectrum, the full picture. Here, we all know how it is. But here is what this foundation is saying. What it's saying is that China has been attempting to push the BRICS into an alternative trading bloc with an overt intent to get those countries off the US dollar. This, by the way, was based on one of their, I don't know what his possession, his name is David Day. So, well, China's intentions, it's not about forcing countries, it's about letting countries choose their own. As to China pushing for getting rid of the US dollar, yes, it does, but for its own. It's not dictating to other countries to do so. China never told Argentina, China never told Saudi Arabia, China never told Brazil to get out of the US dollar. It's their choice. And for this guy or this foundation to be saying that, well, BRICS is aiming to be much more than a trade and economic oriented grouping, well, duh, it is, because he has about 40% of the global population consumers, that is, and with that comes an influence on the global stage. Economics is part of what geopolitics is all about. It's no brainer. So why this entity is repeating the stuff that is obvious to somebody who understands at least how the global system operates? It's because the EU is one side. The G20 is one side. Why do you think the Chinese president didn't go to G20? What for? Or the agenda for G7? It was never about fair economic trade. It was about forcing countries to do this and that. BRICS is not about that. They're not forcing. I mean, you look at just how India is taking the opposite of everything BRICS agrees upon. But they never forced India to embark on this policy, whatever. Yeah. Which to me, if it were up to me and I was a part of the decision-making process, I will have India sit down and I say, sit you behind down and we're going to have straightforward talk. You either get in line here or get out. Simple as it is. I'm not saying that India needs to look for its own interest. Nobody's arguing that. But on the other hand, when the collective of the team, when the whole collective agenda of the team, that will benefit everybody. And because one element will undermine that, that's to me become a calculated tactic. It's not about strategic interest. It's not about sovereignty. It's about undermining. It's the same arguments here. This organization, the Global Risk Mitigation Foundation, is saying. So and this is where I see the challenges that Argentina it's going to be facing. Because Argentina was kind of getting ahead a little bit economically because China has helped with certain ventures. Brazil is getting involved with the financial aspect. It's because if you keep a country in debt, we all know what happened to Sri Lanka, for example. Why? Because it's sank into that. We all know what's happening in Pakistan. Why? Because it's sank in that. And the same thing for Argentina. It was never the intention to let those countries emerge economically by design. And for that, you don't need me to tell you this. Look at just the historical record for what our foreign policy in Latin America was during the 70s. I disclosed a lot of it in my Russia book. It was a section where I devoted for Latin America vis-a-vis foreign policies of the United States. It's the same. I see the same scenario over there. And it's because, as this foundation stated, or this individual or whatever, so when it says, and I quote, the potential for Argentina leaving the Chinese tent is very troubling to Beijing geopolitically, as it cuts against the trend of China's takeover and growing influence in Americas over the last several years. This is what Mr. Day said. Well, wait a minute. China taking over what? It's the narrative, and this is why, sadly, my fellow Americans, they have no clue, no idea, no understanding of how the wording of this aspect. Because remember, as I said last time, words tends to turn into policy. Those are very crafted measures. The statements of Javier Milei himself are very measured and crafted. Heck, if you have the national security advisor going there physically, didn't even send his deputy or whatever, going there physically, it tells you the importance. And for them to say, for this entity to say, well, now China is concerned, is worrying about this, could set the trend. China is not worrying about that. Why will China worry about that? It's the wrong analysis. What they provide in here is false. China is not worrying about a trend that Argentina now pulling out of BRICS is going to reverse. Italy just did the same thing for BRI. But Italy, we all know, has been pressured, forced to move after signing for BRI a few years ago. That's what reflects to me. Those are weak governments, very weak. That spells trouble for, it's not trouble, rather, it's reflecting the beginning of the end of Western hegemony. It's coming to an end. We are coming to an end. It's my country. I have to say it. I can't shy away from it. We are coming to an end. This is where I see this is going. And again, if this image, it says it all. That's to me how I see it. The image says it all. Like I said, image is worth 1,000 words. So this closer ties with Washington now. And again, it became clear to me 2 months ago when it came under my radar as far as the statements I was following. I usually tend to pay close attention to analysis produced by certain entities around the world. This is where I spend most of my time doing the research. And this is why, once again, I am going to move certain conversations from here, because you need to know the full picture. And the full picture requires disclosing certain terminologies that this platform here will not let. It's because it's controlled by the government. I don't shy away from saying it. And you all know this. I know some of you have been mentioned to me that you guys been unsubscribed. I became convinced a few months ago that they are trying to suppress this channel. So they start with these tactics. You're going to start limiting the monetizations of it. You're going to start to put pressures on. Yeah, it ain't going to work with me. I've seen the worst in my life. I've been around the block. These tactics ain't going to cut it with me. The reason why? Because truth matters. Now, when you believe strongly about something, you're going to stand for it. Everything else is nothing but noise. Yeah, there are those who warn me, well, be careful with government. What for? The government has other stuff to deal with. They're worrying about me for what? Yeah, it's ridiculous. But to me, it's the writing on the wall. The end is near. The end is near. So, because of my commitment to you, to the community here, I hope that all of you, no exception, all of you move into the next location. So then we'll just keep casual conversation here. But the nuggets, the substance, everything. And don't you worry, you will get that objective analysis that I always do. You will get it because your time means a lot to me. So this is where I see the challenges now lie ahead for Argentina moving forward. It's gonna, and I'll say it, it's gonna sink even further into economic. Its economic outlook doesn't look well, because of the policies this guy's going to embark on that is directed by Washington. It's because that tells me the Monroe Doctrine still alive. There are those who said no, it's not. No, it is. No, it is. Let me see this one here for. This one here. It is getting ready. I'm working on it, and it will be soon. I will be, because it's not a frustrating. It's about the, to me, it's the hypocrisy that exists in our system. We stand for human dignity. We stand for freedom of speech. We stand for the rule of law, and yet we are doing the opposite of it right here at home. Right here at home, because some entity didn't like to hear the truth. Not everybody likes the truth. Some don't like it. Yeah, you're entitled. You want to listen to it, you don't. That's your prerogative. But why limit someone else from saying the truth? So, and you start embarking on these tactics. Shame. But also, guys, I want you to know what you are witnessing here. It's nothing but a beginning for what lies ahead. What's coming is very complicated. I am not here to scare you, but I am here to make you aware. So you need to start to think about your well-being financially, economically. Don't just follow the trends. And once we move to the next location, we will be talking details, and I am going to be disclosing stuff for you. I will, because that's my commitment to you guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take a few questions. That's all I have to share with you about this one here. Then answer a few questions for you here. OMC, thank you for becoming a new channel member. Truly appreciate it, guys. And by the way, guys, if you want to support the channel, it's right here. So I will put the link for you. Thanks to you to all who bought me coffee, by the way. Thank you all once again from the bottom of my heart. And we'll move this to a different location. The support will always be there because this goes through different aspects here. But if you want to support the channel, either become a channel supporter or member, buy me coffee, whatever you want. It's your decision, not mine. It's your decision. Just FYI, for the channel member supporters, we will be having an exclusive Q&A at the end of this month. I will let you know a few days prior to that, before that. So, all right, let me see a question or two here from you. LMC, as always, man, thank you so much. As always, I can't appreciate enough your continued support. Osiris, thank you so much also. Truly appreciate you for that. Truly appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Here he is. Thank you so much. He is another clown. He is a nightmare. You're absolutely correct. I usually didn't want to say that one. I usually give the proper title, president, because he's elected, but we won't shy away from saying, yes, a clown. That's befitting. The truth matters. Truth matters. Thank you so much for your super sticker. Truly appreciate it. I'm going, guys, to the top here. Just to start from there and see if there is any question. Osiris, yeah, to a degree, but he has something else. Start with a D. Yeah, start with a D. I asked individuals who are in the field and their observation, the assessments, they confirmed to me that he suffers from a D. You know what that word is, right? Yeah, that's what it is. So he's not fit for the office anyway. Never was. All right, let me see. Question, guys. David K, how many languages do you speak? I will leave it at few. I was never in a position to disclose the exact stuff, but I do few. I'm sure you understand why my answer is this way. There are certain things, guys, I don't answer. There's a reason for it. I want you all to know I don't do random. There's always a reason for why certain things. Let me say this one here. Hairless Ape, a question: how likely is it that the Argentinian elections was rigged? I can't answer that one. It's hard for me to tell. What I can tell is that the funding that has been put into this, because it's to the shock of everyone there, that he will pull out 55.56% of the vote. It's far right. On the other hand, if you look just the elections in Europe, who's been rising? The far right. So I can see the trends. I can confirm that one. So it will be not fair of me to issue a statement saying that is the case, because I do not know. What I do know is that the influence that was behind the scenes, and that picture that I shared with you, this one here, speaks louder for that. Louder, very, very, very loud. So, all right, let me see another question from you guys. I'm gonna be scrolling down here to see if there is one. I'm working on a story for you guys about Bhutan and China's border. I've been doing some research on it yesterday. Very fascinating what's going on. And of course, with India, because the involvement India wants to maintain over certain areas in Bhutan. And very, very fascinating. So I'm going to share this with you. I know the meeting took place a few weeks ago between the Chinese Foreign Minister, Mr. Wang Yi, and Dr. Tsai. I can remember the last name. He was the foreign minister for Bhutan, who visited Beijing. And they had a very constructive dialogue, and I will be sharing all that stuff with you. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe. I don't know when. I don't know when. So I'm gonna, because I have to work on putting this next new platform in place ASAP, because we're gonna move the conversations there. So. Enlightened there, Dr. O. I don't know how you survived with your integrity working in Washington. You were in a CEO. It was very hard. I'll admit it. It was very hard. It's because it was always the whole reason why I went to the military. I'm going to share this with you guys, how I went to the military. I got a phone call from the Pentagon. It was always the idea of serving American people. The average Joe, average Jane that has no understanding of the rest of the world. That was my objective for that. But when you start seeing government going into some direction that, hold on a second, I don't want to be part of this. I'm done. It was my decision at that time, and just left. So, and now you're seeing what this platform is doing. It's because they want to suppress this. That tells me I'm on the right track here, and because of you guys, a community like you, we are on the right track here, and I ain't gonna buckle down for this. Muslim revert. No, I already looked into this. No, there is something hidden behind closed doors. It has to do with the IRS and this. About 15% IRS takes into the taxes for this. So basically, your support for me, so a big portion of it ends up going to this platform and the IRS. And to me, no, it's not. I'm sure you don't want to do that. Why should I? I already have enough problems with my taxes going to the government being wasted. So why should you waste your money? I won't want you to do that. So I decided to drop Patreon, but I looked into it. Way back. So who is this? Ash Sheikh, thank you so much for your super sticker. Truly appreciate it, man. Your gesture means a lot to me. I appreciate it. All right, let me see question here, guys, quickly. Here it is, SCLE. Thank you very much. SCLE has been one of an avid supporter for the channel here on both this one and that one, guys. I can't thank you enough, and I mean it, and I will pay it forward one way or another. I want you to all know this one here. Thank you so much. Question from Cosmos Ray. Question: what is your opinion on Argentina purchasing the used F-16 from one of those AU countries? I'm not aware of that one, but even if it is the case, it's a used one. So which means we're giving them the old model, which won't do anything. They will be better. Argentina will be better purchasing J-20 from China or the Su-35 from Russia. But the problem is they're gonna have to build the cadre for the trainings and the parts and so forth. So I'm not very aware of this, but to me, if they buy any used ones, that doesn't bode well. Doesn't bode well. So, all right, do my last question for you. This one, hey guys, I won't address it here. I will address it elsewhere, but let me just say, during the pandemic, I heard India was going cashless, but after that, I never heard. That is true. There was some of that because, yeah, and I even read that some people were rushing to withdraw money from the ATMs, and I think the government put a limit of 500, I think 500 rupees or something like that, or 3,000, somewhere around that number. And it was alarming at that time. As a matter of fact, where you guys need to pay attention to is what's going on right now with the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, who's going to be now investigated for the lies regarding this issue. Yeah, if it were up to me, she would be in jail for a long time, because when you become a public representative, public, what do we call it? Servant, you are held accountable. So you lie to people, you need to go to jail. So this is what I see. All right, guys, I hope you find this very informative. Once again, thank you all for your support. Please hit that like button before you forget. I will really appreciate it. We all know that YouTube is kind of trying to suppress even the likes. Yeah, but I appreciate you not giving up on me for that. So thank you so much. And please subscribe if you have not done so. As always, remember, geopolitics impact your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.